Good morning, everybody. It's me, Mitch. It is Friday, September the 6th. This is Morning Coffee with Mitch, and as usual, drink it if you got it. Today, my cup says when this cup is empty, it will be time to poop. A very important factor about coffee for me. I love the fact that coffee has a mild laxative effect. It's helped me all my life. I want to talk about something today that's disturbing. It's going to be hard to be funny about this because there's nothing funny at all about this. It's very scary, disturbing, creating untold grief and loss for millions and millions and millions of people, but making a lot of money for our industries, especially the medical community. I guess maybe the funeral homes as well. What I'm talking about here is the trend towards dying at a younger age. That's not fun to talk about, but it is evident, and it's evident everywhere. And you'd think, in fact, you'd expect, as we become more technological advanced, as medicine and the understanding of how human anatomy works increases year after year, that things will be going in the opposite direction. And yet somehow they're not. But you'd never know it. You'd never know it by the messaging that we receive, the narrative. And we all know. And I'm not here to try to tell you, wake up, you don't notice this stuff. You do. You notice this. Maybe even in your own families, certainly in your circle of friends. I know that I've noticed it in my circle of friends because all my friends are dead. And this point was hammered home to me a couple of days ago. This was hammered home to me a couple of days ago when a video by a YouTuber named Paul Harrell popped up in my feed with the title that basically said, "I'm dead." And I said to myself, wow, there is the ultimate clickbait. Who in the world could not click on a video that says, "I'm dead"? Now, I know this guy. He's got 1.2 million subscribers. He's very big in weapons and guns, which has a big following on YouTube. Second Amendment people. And he's a fairly young guy. And I clicked on it and I watched the video. Let me play you the first maybe 30 seconds of this video, and then we'll get back to it.
Hi everyone, let me get right to the point. As I'm recording this today, it is 20 December 2023. And I'm recording this and giving Brad instructions to publish it upon my death. So if you're watching me, I'm dead. Now, a few months ago, I sat right here on this log and told you I'd been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and I told you we'd caught it early and that we were still going to be here for some time.
He died and has been suffering with pancreatic cancer. Now, I imagine that if you're a very healthy person and a younger person, you could get pancreatic cancer. but not likely. It was not even a thing until the current state of our health. Most likely, these lifestyle diseases are caused by everything that we believe in as carnivores and everything we talk about the poisoning of ourselves, the excess sugars, all this stuff we are learning more and more each day are really what's causing cancer and many of these other diseases. They are metabolic diseases. Most of them are not genetic. We used to like to blame them all on carcinogens. But we've been exposed to these carcinogens and didn't get the cancer until we became metabolically sick. And I looked at this guy, and he looks like he's in pretty good health. And I said, well, maybe he's the rare exception. Maybe he's the rare exception. And then I started looking at the other people in this video later on and looked at some of his other videos. And in his videos, he's surrounded by some of the most unhealthy looking men I have seen in a long time, especially his brother. And that kind of shows me that maybe in his circles, they just weren't very aware of what they were doing to themselves. And sure enough, at one point in this video, well, you take a look and we'll talk about it when I get back.
It was his wish that I maintain his legacy through this channel by continuing to put out high quality educational content with the flair we all know and love from him.
A box of Pop-Tarts. I looked at that and I said, it figures. And since we're starting our children younger and younger these days, what we're doing by allowing them, not only allowing them, but encouraging them, or giving in to their extortion, because that's what it is. And I'll talk about that more in a minute. We are allowing them, even before 1 year old, to start equating things that taste sweet with the concept of a reward or a treat. If human beings from birth had never been exposed to this kind of sugar, the only sugar they would have gotten would be the lactose in mother's milk. This is all they would have gotten. But before they're even 1 year old, they know what every kind of junk food is. They know what Pop-Tarts are. They know what orange juice is. All the things that we give them because we addicted them to sugar as early as a couple of months old. And now, these clever little darlings know that they can extort us through tantrums and bad behavior to make us feed their addiction. And we, these days as parents, are held hostage by these little brats who are smarter than we think. And then you add into the fact that we've given children, especially under 10, the idea that if we discipline them, they can just pick up the phone and call Children and Family Services and they'll come and take mommy and daddy away. We have given them the tools and the power to get what they want and hold us hostage. And I know that sounds extreme, but we're reaching an age and we've been pushing this nonsense, going against the age-old concept concept of spare the rod, spoil the child. We are raising and have been raising for years generations of spoiled, rotten children, addicted to sugar from almost birth. We don't have the discipline to control these kids anymore. Society won't let us. You try spanking your kid or smacking him on his ass in public, you'll have half the people around you mobbing around you, calling you a child abuser. We are so far away from reality in our society. It's incredible. We have drugged these children into submission to try and fix this problem, and that has only created more problems. They just want to be active kids. Kids are supposed to be active. They're supposed to get excited about things. They're supposed to run around like crazy. That's their job. You ever had a pet? When you've got a puppy, that puppy is everywhere chewing on everything. That is normal behavior for an animal. But it inconveniences us. We give it names. We label them as ADHD. Half the children in this country are taking psychotropic drugs. So here we have a complete generation of our children addicted to sugar from birth, half of them taking psychotropic drugs, which are going to affect them their entire life, ruin their brains. They've become crazy. All of this woke gender identity stuff makes sense to them in their riddled minds. We've got more and more 14-year-olds shooting up schools. These are the things that Robert Kennedy talked about. We as parents have forgotten how to discipline children, say no to them, so that we don't get a tantrum or we don't have to smack them on their ass and put them in their room for a timeout because we're afraid they might not love us because they're so precious. And then, when they start dying in their 40s and 50s, we're shocked. When the childhood cancer rate goes up, when they keep building more and more children's cancer hospitals, when the memorials in front of these hospitals, and I saw this on the news this morning, keep having more and more names every year added to them, the children that die of cancer. Why don't we, like I always say, try to figure out why this is happening? We figured it out. We know why it's happening. We are drugging and poisoning ourselves to an early death, both young and old alike. So once again, I found it very easy to identify a problem. I'd make a great politician. I could stand on a podium and tell you what's wrong with everything all day long. You would assume that since I've identified the problem, I actually know how to fix it. And I would tell you, elect me, and you'll see change. That's all I'd have to say, stupid people. Here's the problems, people. Elect me, and you'll see change. Change from what to what? What is your answer? What is your solution? And again, I'm baffled. It's taken us generations to get into this mess. What is the solution? And we've talked about the solutions before. We need to put the right people in places of power. Easier said than done in a nation full of sugar-addicted, drug-riddled, brain-stupid, uninformed, ignorant human beings worried about only where to get their next sugar fix and alcoholic drink. incapable of critical thinking. But that's where it has to start. We need to get rid of this woke nonsense that wants to put parents in jail for trying to discipline their kids so they behave, instead of taking the conventional and normal and accepted route these days of just giving a kid more and more drugs and placating his tantrums with rewards and treats. And all of this just flew into my mind watching this video of this definitely unhealthy looking man talking about his brother's early death with a goddamn box of Pop-Tarts in front of everybody. That's the root of the problem right there. The Pop-Tarts and all the rest of the stuff like it. I didn't expect this to turn into a rant, but I can't help but get passionate when you see the same thing over and over, and then people want to blame it on everything but what really causes it. Wait, that's politics, isn't it? Take the rest of the day off and eat meat.